JICA's cooperation in the port sector. In today's world, thanks to the advancement of information technology, people, things, and events are instantly connected. With the proliferation of transport modes, maritime transport now accounts for around 80% of global trade by volume and around 70% of global trade by value. The importance of maritime transport, as well as the role of ports and harbors that support it, are increasing every year. Ports are a vital social infrastructure that supports a country's economy. To fulfill these important roles, port administrators need to focus on the development of facilities capable of accommodating larger vessels, the maintenance of cargo handling machinery, wharves, and quays to ensure stable operation, safety of port workers and protection of cargo, realization of a carbon-neutral port, and introduction of information technology. The role of ports has diversified in recent years. They play important roles not only as transportation hubs and manufacturing bases through coastal industrial parks, but also tourism hubs with ferries and cruises, and activation hubs through markets and festivals. JICA has cooperated to strengthen the operational and maintenance capabilities of port facilities in developing countries for over 60 years. Ms. Kaori Okubo of JICA recalls.
Starting from the 1980s, I believe, the focus has moved to not only building ports but also to collaborate in developing industries and adjacent communities. JICA's cooperation extends from upstream to downstream. Upstream refers to making policies, standards, and master plans, introducing new ways of thinking. Downstream involves how to move and operate containers, how to alleviate port congestion, and how to maintain and control port facilities. I think JICA is unique in the way it tackles all kinds of issues from various angles and leads to solutions.
This video introduces examples of JICA's various initiatives in the port sector. JICA's cooperation in the port sector. Good practice. JICA has provided support to more than 50 countries and regions around the world on strengthening the operation and maintenance of port facilities to establish hubs that support maritime transport. This section introduces some of JICA's representative projects in Cambodia, Thailand, and Senegal. Ms. Okubo, who is also involved in infrastructure development in Cambodia, refers to the increasing value of ports and harbors.
When the population increases and the economy grows, particularly in Asian countries, it also increases the amount of cargo. So, new ports are built to increase their handling capacity, as well as extend or expand the existing ones. Large ports are the gateways of selling homegrown products and earning foreign currencies. Ports are the windows that connect a country to the world, and expanding that window enables a country to grow. Ports are a key infrastructure which is expected to support the economic foundation of a country.
Sihanoukville Autonomous Port in Cambodia is also one of those key ports. It is the country's only deep-water port, and developing this natural harbor as an international port was positioned as the centerpiece of Cambodia's recovery after a long civil war. Initially, the port had no wharf specified for containers, and since containers were handled together with general cargo, the handling work was inefficient. JICA supported their container terminal construction, multi-purpose terminal development, harbor dredging, and the introduction of cargo handling equipment. Mr. Lu Kim Chun, Chairman and CEO of Sihanoukville Autonomous Port, recalls.
This is the first container terminal in Cambodia. After the construction of the container terminal, we became capable of handling container cargo, which is much faster and reduces damages and losses during the handling process. Initially, we were able to handle 10 containers per hour. After the terminal began operations with new cranes, we increased our handling capacity to up to 20 containers per hour. This expansion has enabled us to increase our capacity to 550,000 TEUs per year, with 18% of global ships able to dock at our port. It transformed Sihanoukville Port into a dedicated container port.
However, the rapid economic growth brought by wharf development gave rise to new problems. Mr. Koichi Miyake, president of the Overseas Coastal Area Development Institute of Japan, who was then involved in this project as a project leader, recalls.
The increase in cargo handling volume at this port was enviable from a Japanese perspective, but also caused congestion. The port was not performing basic operations. It was chaotic. Container orientation was inconsistent, the port area was jammed with motorbikes, and people selling things could enter the port freely.
In 2017, about 200 trucks would line up in front of the terminal gate, and a 2 kilometers traffic jam occurred frequently. Mr. Miyake and his team made various proposals to alleviate the congestion.
To address congestion, performance indicators called KPI were set for numerical monitoring. For example, the congestion outside the gate and the time required to process paperwork were expressed numerically to try and find ways to improve. We discussed this with people from the Sihanoukville Port Authority, or PARS.
The Cambodian side also presented their own improvement measures. It was taking 5 hours for trucks to receive containers at the port and leave the area. They advised the then Deputy Prime Minister to improve the efficiency of X-ray inspections. Truck waiting time decreased, which improved efficiency, decreased emissions, and led to improved port services. Here again was JICA's unique cooperation.
I would like to emphasize that infrastructure alone is not enough. Human capacity is equally important. We cannot operate the container port without skilled personnel. JICA has also provided strong support in developing the human capacity at PARS, enabling our officers to operate the port efficiently. As we all know, equipment and machinery in ports are very expensive and high-tech, on average $5 to $6 million. So, we require skilled operators to utilize them effectively. The large size of the container port also demands a robust IT system to manage and operate the port with effectiveness. All of this support from JICA has assisted PARS in increasing container throughput. I would like to highlight that the average increase in container throughput is 11.2% per year, indicating rapid growth.
Mr. Miyake says that cultivating ownership by the Cambodian side was an offspring of this cooperation.
In the beginning, Japan was more like teaching and instructing, but over time, the Cambodian side began to show initiative, and we got into a relationship of supporting them. I think that thinking to find solutions together with the people from developing countries is the foundation of international cooperation, or rather, development cooperation.
Ms. Okubo of JICA also points out.
I once asked directly to a group of local elementary and junior high school students when they were gathering at the port, what kind of port it was for them. Then a girl told me that she was very proud to have grown up in the port city of Sihanoukville. She also said she was happy that the port would grow and grow with Japan's cooperation. Moments like this are valuable. I felt very pleased that she thought that way.
The renovation of the existing wharves and yards was completed in August 2024, and in December, the container throughput of Sihanoukville Port has reached 1 million TEU for the first time in the history of PARS. With the new container terminals currently being developed under the Japanese ODA loan, Sihanoukville Port will continue to support Cambodia's economic growth in generations to come. The port of Lame Chabang is located in the central Thai province of Chonburi. It is the eastern coastal region, the second largest economic zone in Thailand after the capital Bangkok. In the early 1980s, the Thai government formulated a development plan aiming to create heavy chemical and export industries and reduce the concentration around the metropolitan area. The newly established industrial park saw the entry of various businesses, including the Japanese automakers. JICA was also involved in this regional development. Not only in the construction of Lame Chabang Port, where large container ships can dock, JICA also participated in the development of projects such as the construction of industrial parks adjacent to the port. Thanks to the development of water sources and the improvement of infrastructure such as railways and roads, the area succeeded in attracting many companies. Many Japanese companies also entered the market. Today, the port boasts the largest cargo handling volume in Thailand and plays a major role as a hub for industry and logistics in Southeast Asia. The autonomous port of Dakar is the only international port in Senegal, West Africa. More than 70 years after its initial construction, the wharf was too old for safe cargo handling at the time. Mr. Yoshimoto Koyanagi of JICA recalls.
This third wharf is one of the wharves of the port of Dakar that preferentially handles cargo destined for Mali. It mainly handles food including rice and fertilizer. But the apron for loading and unloading kept sinking, and when it rains, puddles form, and it smelled very bad, unsanitary. In such a situation, handling cargoes, especially cargoes containing food, was inefficient and unsanitary. Plus, the wharf was old, so JICA received a request from the Senegalese government for a grant aid.
However, Mr. Keiji Machida of Toa Corporation recalls that various construction problems occurred during the renovation.
Under the original renovation plan, the selected construction method was to build a new wharf by stacking blocks in front of the existing wharf. However, that would narrow the frontal sea area and, as vessels were required to do the works, this would make the port totally unusable. Given that this port provides logistics for inland Mali, stopping all port functions would have been difficult. This led to using Japanese technology called the gyropress method to make a wharf with steel pipe sheet piles.
Mr. Hidenori Murashima of Giken Seiko Company Limited says that the Europress method, in which a rotary function is added to the press-in machine to cut and press in steel pipe sheet piles into the ground, was born from Japan's unique circumstances.
During the post-World War II construction rush that accompanied Japan's economic growth, the hammer driving and vibration of traditional piling methods came under scrutiny as a form of pollution. This problem was solved by the development of a press-in machine that was compact and did not produce vibration or noise. The gyropress method is compact and does not require large vessels. JICA's technical committee asked us if it was possible to use the gyropress method for the type of ground for this project, and we replied with pride, "Not a problem."
At the time, the gyropress method was virtually untried in wharf works. In the detailed design stage, JICA set up a technical committee of experts to investigate, and it was ultimately adopted. Not only did the renovation proceed without halting port functions, but the originally planned pile driving work period of 1 year was reduced to just 9 months. In recognition of these efforts, many site visits were made by other African countries, and the Outstanding Civil Engineering Achievement Award from the Japan Society of Civil Engineers, JCSE, was presented. In response to the fact that Japan's unique technology has solved the construction problems of developing countries, Mr. Koyanagi of JICA says,
The government of Japan has a strategy on quality infrastructure export. So, in this regard, I believe that the fact that these Japanese companies with high technological capabilities firmly implemented this new technology, which was the first of its kind in a foreign country, has contributed to Japan's high-quality infrastructure export to some extent.
JICA's concept of leveraging technologies and experience accumulated by Japan to solve problems faced by ports around the world extends not only to infrastructure development but also to human resource development. JICA's cooperation in the port sector. Training in Japan. The Port of Yokohama is one of Japan's most well-known comprehensive ports. It has the advantage of being the first port from the United States and the last port from East Asia on the routes connecting East Asia and the west coast of North America. It is also close to the entrance of Tokyo Bay and does not require periodic dredging due to a lack of river inflow. The port is blessed with favorable natural conditions. It has 4 zones: an industrial zone, a container terminal, an automobile export base, and an international passenger ship terminal. The aim is to create a comprehensive port that revitalizes the local economy and enriches the lives of citizens based on 3 pillars: international competitiveness, tourism and prosperity, and safety, security, and environmental friendliness. In 2021, the Port of Yokohama was ranked number 1 in the world in the 2020 Container Port Productivity Index, CPPI 2020, which was jointly developed by the World Bank and IHS Markit. The port is attracting global attention for its outstanding container cargo handling efficiency. Let's hear from Mr. Koji Ogiwara, Port and Harbor Bureau, City of Yokohama.
Before World War II, Shinko Pier was in charge of cargo handling at the Port of Yokohama, and after the war, Yamashita Pier took over. But, in the 1970s, when loading cargo into box-shaped containers became mainstream, the vessels also became larger, so Deepwater Hanmoku Pier, Minami Hanmoku Pier, and Daikoku Pier were constructed. Now, we are constructing Shin Hanmoku Pier, which will have a water depth of 18 meters. As the port expanded offshore to Minami Hanmoku Pier, the function of Shinko Pier's red brick warehouse shifted from handling cargo to a commercial facility. The pier now serves as an area for tourism and amusement. I think what makes the Port of Yokohama unique is as the fact that it's a comprehensive port. It's not just about industry, nor commerce, nor freight. We're working on a comprehensive approach that incorporates all functions.
JICA shares Japan's knowledge and experience on comprehensive port development with its partner countries through providing training courses as part of its technical cooperation for developing countries. JICA Yokohama is located on the Shinko Pier of the Port of Yokohama. Since opening in April 2002, it has supported the improvement of problem-solving capabilities of developing countries by offering training courses utilizing Japan's knowledge and experience in cooperation with related organizations and counterparts. JICA Yokohama supports human resource and system development that will lead to social and economic growth in developing countries. In the port sector, programs are prepared for topics such as maintenance and management of port facilities, development of ports integrated with the development of waterfront areas, and planning of port strategies and management focused on economic and strategic development. This is a group and region-focused course called Port Development and Planning for Port Engineers. Participants come from target countries and acquire Japan's knowledge and expertise through more than 1 month of lectures and site visits.
So you can see the Tokyo Bay. We have 6 ports in the Tokyo Bay: Yokohama, Tokyo, Chiba, Kawasaki, Kisarazu, and Yokosuka.
Here are some scenes from the visits to the Port of Yokohama facilities.
Last year, the Port of Yokohama was Japan's top port for the number of cruise ship calls. Osanbashi Pier had the most port calls. Therefore, the city of Yokohama puts a lot of effort into tourism. For example, cruise passengers can obtain discounts on shopping by showing this map at stores.
120 shops in Yokohama will give discount, but not JICA participants.
Yokohama Bayside Marina boasts one of the largest pleasure boat mooring capacities in Japan. Out of a total capacity of 1,350 berths, 1,200 are currently occupied.
In addition to Tokyo Bay, site visits are conducted at ports throughout Japan according to the topic. The main receiving institutes are the local port offices of the Ministry of Land, Infrastructure, Transport, and Tourism, research institutes, and companies with port facilities. Lectures by experts are offered in advance so that the participants can further deepen their understanding. This style is quite popular with them. This is the port of Kashima in Ibaraki Prefecture.
The Kashima area was originally known as the Kashima Dunes. The increase in cargo ships resulting from high economic growth caused port congestion in Tokyo Bay. This led to a national project from the 1960s for integrated development of a port and industrial park on this land that once was dunes. The port of Kashima has now grown into one of Japan's largest industrial complexes, with about 170 companies from sectors such as petrochemicals, steel, feed and lumber.
This is the port of Onahama in Fukushima Prefecture.
Fukushima was severely damaged by the earthquake and tsunami caused by the Great East Japan earthquake 13 years ago. But those of us who live here are back to normal and safe every day.
Participants form different impressions of the site visits depending on the situations in their own countries.
People all over the world know about the long history of Japan with natural disaster. But all of us respect Japanese because of the way they restore and the lesson they withdraw from the disaster. It's very important.
A lot of the ports here emphasize a lot on disaster prevention, and that's also something that is similar in terms of the same natural disasters that we experience in Samoa that we'll be focusing on a lot more.
Participants are able to join the local summer festival at the port of Onahama and enjoy time with the local people. Participants learn about diverse aspects of Japan's ports, experiencing not only port technology, but also the history and culture behind it. JICA has been continuing such training on ports for over 60 years, with cooperation from related organizations. This is a group and region-focused course called Strategic Port Administration and Management. The training aims to enhance the capabilities of each participant to strategically manage and develop ports in their own countries. As the role of ports expands, participants are not only port engineers, but come from a variety of disciplines. Participants use their own expertise, engaging in hard work and friendly rivalry about the common theme of strategic development of ports for national prosperity, so they can actually take action right after returning home. Ms. Mialisoa Recurse is from Madagascar. She is a legal advisor on strategic port development and planning.
Because currently I'm working on developing PPP models for port because we want to privatize more our operations in port, and I'm working with the PPP unit of ATM. It has a significant meaning for us right now in our project.
To address the diverse needs of ports, the program offers a variety of lectures.
Through various initiatives, the Port of Yokohama is aiming to become the port of choice for shipping companies globally. The primary policy is to construct large terminal facilities able to accommodate large vessels, and to use information technology to develop a highly convenient port.
Digitalization of the container terminal is there is a data, terminal data, everything the terminal data inside of the computer. And to use this data connect to the outside or to make a best efficiency of the container transportation or to provide the best service for the customer.
Based on what they have learned in the program, participants present the issues they face in their respective countries and compile measures to solve them into an action plan.
Those are the main processes of this observatory. So
an action plan is made by each participant based on knowledge gained during the training period in line with individually set targets. It is a specific action guideline for them to follow after returning home. Experts from various fields review each action plan and offer detailed individual guidance.
this is from the current regulation.
For this course, participants are already on the front line in their respective job areas, so we ask them to come up with ideas they can actually propose to their institutions. Their flexible ideas might provide some inspiration for their institutions, which will elevate the organization as a whole in a bottom-up manner. We review their final action plans approved by their authorities, and if there are plans that look effective, achievable, or seem to need external support, we dispatch experts from Japan to those countries for some on-site monitoring, to look for any possibilities for JICA to cooperate. It's JICA's strength to have such mechanism.
Mia was refining her action plan of attracting more private companies to her port. However, a lecturer researching public-private partnerships says,
privatizations may work well to some extent in Japan. As I told you, in the main island where the population is quite huge, privatizations lead to quite a good profit for private companies. Then services are well provided. But in the rural areas, privatization may not always give you the successful results because the private companies cannot make money. If the demand may not be so high, maybe privatizations or the deregulation may not work well.
The participants also give their own opinions.
I just want to say that PPP at the port where I work, Port of Bujumbura, the PPP system is almost failing.
Would PPP be a fit in Madagascar, which has a rather small population? Mia was wondering about her own action plan.
But after the privatizations,
I don't agree with Apollo-san because maybe in some countries PPP failed, but in other countries they succeeded. I traveled in Ghana, I saw.
Participants contributed their own experience and thoughts, which triggered discussion. Participants say that lively exchanges of opinion like this are the best parts of JICA's training programs.
We have different challenges in our port. We can exchange ideas on how to overcome those challenges and also the best practice of each port.
I would like to say maybe we should spend more time on discussing about our own experience in another 19 participants in another 18 countries. more about the port sector so that we can learn each other not only from Japan but also among our countries.
Mia also joins in to express her own opinion.
So in Madagascar, we're still in the learning process of PPP. We've adopted the law in 2015 on general PPP.
Okay. Yes, I think so. The learning process, you use quite a good keyword. Right, I think so. Probably there no way to get the successful result from the beginning. So you'd better have some experiences, and the learning process is quite important key issues. But I enjoyed, and I hope you enjoyed a lot about the discussions, right?
The 8 weeks of this program were nothing less than a lifetime experience. We gained not only knowledge, but also wisdom and a new network of formidable and skilled individuals we can lean on. We are now on a mission that we have accepted to push forward the action plan we co-created here, but also to share and disseminate the knowledge we gathered. Let dream big, whatever position we fill. To JICA and all partners, we hope that this program marks the beginning of even more fruitful cooperations with our respective countries. We rest assured that this is only a goodbye, not a farewell.
Having colleagues who share issues and work together to resolve them is another precious asset obtained from JICA's training program. Once every few years, JICA invites key personnel in the port sector, including the graduates of JICA's group and region-focused training programs, with the aim of sharing values such as developing an orderly shipping environment and emphasizing sustainable port development. Through various seminars and symposiums, JICA is engaged in building platforms through strengthening human networks. Mr. Lu Kim Chun, CEO of the Sihanoukville Autonomous Port of Cambodia, is also a graduate of JICA's training course.
We feel grateful to JICA for organizing JICA Port Alumni because it provides a chance for trainees to meet each other and also with experts, as well as many other friends who have the same experience. There are people with different ages, from different countries, and at different levels, so that it makes the JICA Port Alumni Program particularly valuable. By bringing together Japanese experts and trainees from other countries and generations, the JICA Port Alumni serves as a platform for ongoing exchanges that help participants keep their knowledge current both from JICA and from different countries. The training provided by JICA is consistently updated every year. By working here, we put what we learned into practice. Additionally, we maintain a strong network and have the opportunity to share information, to visit one another, fostering a collaborative community.
Improving connectivity in the transport sector is one of JICA's cooperation policies.
So of course there's several clear reasons.
As a partner country, JICA will continue to offer sustainable, long-lasting, comprehensive cooperation in the port sector, from development planning to construction, operation and maintenance, as well as human resource development, in line with the needs and issues of the developing countries. Together, we will work to foster a prosperous society.